Okay, hi. So don't mind my red face, I just worked out. So a lot of you requested like input on how to do curly hair. So I just thought I'd show my routine. I already cleansed my hair with this Shea Moisture Low Porosity Lofu. If you don't know if you have high or low porosity, just Google how to do it, and you can do a test and find out what your hair falls under. So I already cleansed my hair a little bit, and so now I'm going to do the first step, which is applying conditioner. And so I've been using this Cantu natural hair cream conditioner. I have really fine hair, and this doesn't weigh mine down, so I think it's a great option. Yeah, I'm just really liking it. So my hair is like kind of wet. You can see it's like not that wet, but I usually get it a little bit more wet so that it's dripping a bit. And then I'm going to use about that much conditioner. So I kind of emulsify it in my hands and then start just running it through. I don't put too much on the root. As you guys probably know, that's not really what you're supposed to do. And ever since I got a proper curly cut, I haven't had to like really detangle my hair much. Before it was like an actual process where it would take me like a half an hour to get tangles out, but now it's not so much. There's like a couple tangles here and there, but really like now it's detangled, super easy. So even though I don't have to detangle, I usually will use a Denman brush just to kind of distribute the conditioner, and then that way it kind of places a little bit on the root, but not as much as like my big fingertips would. And the only time you want to brush curly hair is when it's wet. So I kind of brush it away from my scalp too, so it's not like slicked up against it. All right. And I actually, lately I've been kind of combing it forward because that's how I wear my hair. I have kind of like fringe. So I usually kind of set my hair up for success as far as where I place it. And now I get into like the squish to condish part. So you can see that like kind of curls are starting to form, and it kind of knows what it wants to do. You can kind of shake it and see where curls are gonna want to go. So I usually just get my hands a little bit wet, and then I just kind of, and I'm not actually squeezing anything out. I'm just sort of what's called pulsing water around. You can see that like a little bit's dripping out, but not much. I'm kind of like, you can hear it. I'm kind of just moving the water around the hair. And so I'm never gonna actually rinse out my conditioner. I just add little bits of water. And the idea is that you want to form what's called like a clump, which is like, this one's really nice and big and thick. So you want to start forming those. You don't want a lot of like stringy bits like that, unless you have really thick hair, like hair. I have kind of a lot of fine hair. So this is like kind of as thin as I can really do. Like I want kind of, maybe this like in half would be good. That's like kind of what I want each clump to be. And so I kind of separated a little bit from my scalp, like I said before. This guy, like, I'm gonna want to separate this a little bit. And usually I don't have like a mirror or a phone, so I just kind of like, I'm like this, and I'm just kind of like looking at what my curls are doing. And so I can just kind of continue to do this With Squish to Condition, I found that the more you do it, the better your result's gonna be. So you wanna just kind of have your hair and you kind of let it, you know, open palm, lower up, and then squeeze. Lower up, and then you're doing the squeezing. So you're squeezing next to the root, but you're not really manipulating the curl that much. You're just kind of letting it fall in the way that it naturally wants to. And so I just kind of make sure that my hands are always like really like slippery wet. And so I'll go down a little bit. I'm gonna just splash a little bit of water on. And the reason for that is it helps maintain the, like get the frizz down. So you wanna kind of be smoothing water on a little bit. And that just makes the top layer of hair, what counts as like frizz, it keeps it under control. So, you know, like I see like this is kind of like separated. So I'm gonna kind of finger curl it in the direction that my hair curls. And then squeeze a little bit more. And that just kind of helps to like train your hair a little bit. Because sometimes after years of like straightening it and stuff, like it doesn't really know what it's supposed to do. And sometimes just little adjustments like that. I wash my hair like once a week or something. And little adjustments like that over time, it'll just start to kind of do what you want it to. Sorry, I look so weird after I work out. Like, okay. So it's getting a little bit stringy. Like I said, I'm adding a little bit of water. This is what you call like rake and shake, where you can rake your fingers through to make clumps. You kind of squeeze your fingers together and pull, and then shake, and it'll allow those curls and the little hairs to kind of like marry each other. I have like a devil's lock. This is funny. So yeah, like these, like my things, I like to kind of encourage a little bit more. So, you know, I do that sort of thing. Oh no, baby's crying. And then, you know, you do this. She's gonna snooze, so hopefully it'll get her. So now I'm gonna use the curl activator pink. And for this, I don't use very much. I use less of this than the conditioner. So about like that. And it's, you know, probably about the size of a quarter. And I really rinse quite a bit of it out. So it's like this. And I just kind of first glaze it over. Again, that helps control the frizz. So you really want to kind of do some of this action. And then once it's pretty saturated, like you can see that most of it is off. Then I kind of wet it. A lot of these products, water like activates them. So now I'm going to do basically the same thing that I did with the conditioner. I'm just going to go through and really just like squeeze water into it. And this seems like probably a lot of work, and it kind of is, but I only do it once a week, you know, as opposed to like spending 30 minutes a day on my hair or something. I mean, I don't even brush, like I don't do anything with my hair during the week at all. I might like do that or like use a pick or something, like to help tousle it, but I don't do like anything else. And so again, this is like a product that, you know, I have pretty fine hair, but it works okay for me. And in the back, I'm trying to avoid this flat spot. So I'm just kind of like separating that. And I'll do the same thing if I see something that I think is too thin of a clump, then I'll kind of encourage them to go together. Oh, and I forgot, this brand, actually Innersense, is really great for fine hair. It's like really light, water-soluble products, and they're like really, really natural. So I do like 3 pumps of this. Usually I do this before the curl cream, but it doesn't make a big difference because you aren't really putting curl cream in your roots. And I just kind of do it on like the top quarter of my hair. And then I just scrunch in the excess. So you can see that has some nice kind of clumps forming. You can kind of start to see what's going on. And my hair is still like very, very sopping wet. And again, you can kind of see like, it's kind of smooth, like there's not a lot of like frizz or like flyaways. Like you can see a little bit here. You don't want to see too much of that. If you can smooth it down as much as possible, that's gonna help. So last step in the shower is I do the instant freeze gel. And so again, this is like, I don't know, it's a good amount. This is like maybe a tablespoon. And so I kind of emulsify it. With the gel, I always add a tiny bit of water. So I'll just run my hand just barely under the faucet. Looks really gross. And again, I'm just gonna glaze it over and then scrunch a little bit. I'm using like barely any pressure at all. I'm just sort of like I said, kind of just glazing over my hair. Okay, so for the final step, what you're gonna do is you're gonna take like an old t-shirt or a microfiber towel, not a terry cloth towel, and you're going to do a little bit of scrunching with this, but you're not gonna wanna agitate the curl pattern at all. You just are squeezing out as much excess water and product as you can. So I just kind of lower my hair onto the towel and squeeze. And lower and squeeze. So you can see that it's getting a lot out. So now I would say my hair is like maybe 60% wet. And so now I'm going to what I call, or what they call, I guess, set the cast. You want your gel cast to set. So you want to just kind of dry the outer layer of your hair so that it stays in the shape that it currently is. So for this part, I don't have any fancy tools. I have just like a shitty Conair. This thing's kind of cool. It's the Curly Company flexible thing, so you can, you know. So that part I find helpful because it makes your hair less heavy, so it can stay springy and high on your head and curly, especially when you have, you know, wavy curly hair like I do. So you can see that the ends, like some of this is like legit dry, and it'll take probably another like 2 hours until I'm gonna actually fully scrunch it. But that's why I plan to have like a wash day, so that I have time to do it. If I was working or something, maybe I would get in my car at this point if I had a long commute, and then it would be okay by the time I got to work. But so now at this point, I'm going to clip my roots, and then I'm gonna sit under my hood dryer for probably 20 minutes. And mostly that's just like a convenience thing. I can sit there and, you know, scroll through my phone or whatever. And it's just nice, and it, you know, I mean, I don't have to like hang out upside down like I have been. So I'm gonna get my clips and I'll show you a little bit of that too. So I use a mix. There's like two common kind of styles of clips that people use, which is this little one. I use just the cheap Amazon small ones. Diva Curl makes some, but they're probably too expensive. And then these. I think if you're a beginner, these are probably easier. And then if you know what you're doing, it just doesn't matter once you know kind of what you're doing. So I start front to back, and it's important because you want to put them in and take them out in the same order, basically, so that you don't get tangles and have it mess up your hair. So what you do is you try to think of like a rainbow end to end, like your root being the end, and then the first loop of a curl being the other part. So I find that, and I just clip it so it's standing up at the root. So again, right here, I'm gonna just clip it so it's standing up at the root. This one's a little bit loose. I think I need new clips. So this, I think my hair actually might need the long clips. I just found those small clips again, so I haven't actually used them in a while. There we go. So sometimes it's like, this is like a weakling, so you can feel that it's not tightly holding your hair there. So when that happens, you want to reclip it or just don't use that clip. So again, I just sort of lift, and then I'm just kind of, and you'll feel, it's kind of like with bobby pins, when you kind of like can tell when you get that like secure hold, like you know which one is going to be the one that's like lasting. Okay. And so there's no, I mean, I just sort of like, I do kind of similar places each time, but it doesn't make a huge difference. Like I'm just trying to get that kind of top layer just kind of like elevated a little bit. And then I'll usually, that like flat spot in the back I was showing you, I'll usually find a little bit there to clip so you can kind of see. And this is like pretty good, you know? I just sort of feel around for if I missed a spot, or if there's a spot where I'm like, oh, that could use a little bit of love. And then once I have them all in, I'll show you my heater. It's really awesome. Okay. So, now I can see. So now it's clipped. My hair is, like I said, probably 30% wet at this point. Definitely not dry, definitely not ready to like scrunch out the crunch yet, but it's on its way to looking cute. So I'm just gonna show you with my phone what I use. Oh, can I not flip around? Shit. Okay. So this is my it's Tourmaline Tools, Hot Tools little hood dryer, and I love it. My husband and I both use it. We call it, or it's called, I think like in the industry or something, it's called the purple people heater. But it's really great. Oh yeah, it's actually called that. But it's great. So we both just chill out here. You know, take the self-care time to put up our feet or whatever. Or like I said, I'm probably gonna read right now. I have like 3 things on my reading list that I'm supposed to have done like this week. So yeah, scrunch out the crunch. I mean, that part is pretty easy. If you're interested in this video, you've probably already seen how to do that. You just scrunch your hair till it's not crispy anymore from the gel. And you do that once it's 100% dry. So yeah, that's my video. Yeah, I'll post a pic maybe of the end results. Okay, bye.